Today on Football's Play to Win, we'll preview the Dogs and Falcons as they try and stay undefeated. All the latest from the world of football coming up on the fastest 45 minutes in television. It's Football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by Ford, Mellow Mushroom, and Georgia Lottery. Today's Hometown Team Report is brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, a higher order of pizza for your tailgating events.
All right, welcome to the show with Bob, Nikki, Chuck, and Bob Squared over here, or Square Bob, I guess.
Double Bob. Are you SpongeBob SquarePants?
Exactly. SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a very popular show. It'll help our ratings if I go that way. Let's talk about last week. How'd you do?
Well, I did great. I was actually kind of ticked off that Jeffrey wasn't here because I couldn't wait to rub it in his face about Clemson Louisville. He picked Louisville, right? Nope. You know what? Clemson proved to us they can win another title, and Lamar Jackson proved to us he didn't need to win the Heisman.
Well, Nikki, I did bad on that game.
Yeah, you got beat down.
I got beat down on that
game. I gave a beat down on that Clemson game. I gave a good beat down.
But I told them earlier, Vandy under Derek Mason,
Right.
they're going to do something in the SEC. Alabama, beware.
Really beware?
Alabama, beware.
Or just like wake up and put their pants on like they do every other day
And go out.
I told you.
All right, just remember, we'll come back and revisit that as we always do after we see how the folks pick on the show. All right, let's talk about Georgia. Is Georgia for real?
I think they have a little work in progress, you know. They have a little work in progress.
They're 3-0, but they haven't really started.
They're 3-0, but Jake Fromm has started 2 games, and he started some big games, but he's turned the ball over in both of those big games. But you saw Godwin, the receiver, show some speed and some length, running down the field, stretching the pocket, stretching that offense out. So they got some stuff they can work from.
I don't think they're for fake.
Why? No, they're not for fake.
No, I mean, I don't want to say they're for real, but I don't want to say they're for fake.
Well, they already passed the first test. They beat Notre Dame, but they still got to what? They got to play Florida.
Yeah.
They got to play Auburn. They got to play Georgia. So for them to be legit, to be the beast of the East, they still got work to do. Remember, they're not right now. They're not even the state champs. Georgia right now, they have an excellent team, but there's still a lot of work to do before I can say right now that they're that team to beat. They ain't like won the SEC lately.
Falcons hangover ever going away?
Nah, I don't. Number one, I think people are going to hold them to an expectation right now that they can't realize because it's the regular season. So, but I do think this. I think the Falcons won't have a hangover because, number one, I talk about it all the time, Dan Quinn knows how to manage his talent. He knows how to get the players to believe in what he wants. He also, one thing I like, he's not sitting on his hands, Bob, and check this out, Nikki. Let me tell you why. He gets rid of coaches. If you ain't doing your job and you ain't doing it good, a good manager does what? Gets a new coach. So I like how it starts at the top with Dan Quinn. He has a great staff. He handles his players well. And I don't think there'll be a hangover, but until they win it all, there's going to be a lot of questions about can they do it.
Well, here's one of the questions they're going to have to answer, and that's when the injury bug hits you, how can you perform?
You know, a good short-term prescription is winning, and they're doing that.
That's it. When we come back in just a moment, we're going to have our NFL report. You stay with us on Football's Play to Win.
You never know when the moment will strike. And when it does, you want to be ready. Mellow Mushroom's craft pizza, beer, and cocktails can help you enjoy a more satisfying eating experience. Mellow Mushroom is safe for daily use. If you find yourself sitting in a Mellow Mushroom for more than 4 hours, you may want to go home and come back another day. Mellow Mushroom is not for everyone. Just kidding, it is. Ask your doctor about Mellow Mushroom. He may want to come with you.
We, the internet-loving people, want super-fast internet. One that downloads an HD movie in 34 seconds. Because who wants to wait for entertainment? We want it right away. So we can watch and enjoy the second we want to. Right, buddy?
Can I have another juice box?
You're growing up so fast.
Experience super fast internet. AT&T Fiber. Make rush hour an adrenaline rush with the 2017 Nissan Altima. Now with Nissan Intelligent Mobility, featuring automatic emergency braking that can help you stop safely and keep you out of a jam. Automatic emergency braking, now on Nissan Altima and Sentra. Take on today. Now with Nissan's Hurricane Relief Program, get employee pricing plus no payments for up to 6 months.
At Longhorn, tonight's special, the Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. A center-cut sirloin with a side, plus a starter, or dessert. And for lunch, try one of our new burgers, like the barbecue bacon burger. You can't fake steak.
Today's NFL Report is brought to you by Nally Ford, Sandy Springs. The car you want, the name you trust. It has to be Nally Ford, Sandy Springs.
All right, welcome back. It's time to talk NFL Report. We look back at last week. What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is quarterbacks had a rough week, Bob, and starts off with Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. Struggling right now. When you think of the other quarterbacks, you got Bears, Mike Glennon, you got Jacoby Brissett in Indianapolis. I mean, all of them had tough weeks. And one of the interesting things are, to me, a lot of the quarterbacks in college play out of the gun. You know, and so in the pro style, what happens is, you know, you got to play under center. You got to have more of a pro style game. And Bob, you kind of, you know, coming out of Stanford and playing with the Falcons, I mean, that was something that you guys kind of always did, right?
It's not just that quarterback,
Right.
Chuck. It's also the offensive line has to learn a pro style game. And the offensive linemen coming out of college are not learning how to protect the quarterback or run pro style schemes, so they struggle early on. And because of lightweight practices, and
Right.
they do a lot of things not in pads, those linemen take longer to develop.
Poor NFL players and poor Eddie Lacy. He's so sad. He was a healthy scratch riding the bench. You know, he's got that weight incentive that I guess he didn't hit. He's getting trolled on the internet, getting fat shamed. How's it feel? Welcome to being a woman. Anyway, totally different subject. He's got a $62,000 a week incentive to stay in shape. And you know what? That is mouse nuts in the NFL.
Mouse nuts.
So, mouse nuts.
So for the rest of his career, you're saying it's okay for him to shame him. Because it's big now. People ain't, Nikki, I've been a player, right? Bob's been a player.
And I've been chubby.
And I've been a
Yeah.
cheerleader and made $100 a game.
Okay.
No one was.
Players
No one,
got
I had to get my
feelings.
own gym membership to stay in shape. $100 a game. I'm
There
sorry,
you
I
go.
don't feel sorry for you. Welcome to being a girl. We
Okay.
get
About
trolled
that,
all
Eddie.
the time. We get one little fat roll and everybody's like, "Jeez, lay off those hamburgers."
Okay, I like it. We got her on a roll. I want to
feel
go
sorry
to.
for
Let's
y'all
go to another
millionaire
issue.
football
No, leave
players.
Eddie alone, man. Leave Eddie
Do
alone.
some crunches, Eddie. I don't feel
Let's
sorry
deal
for
with the Panthers and the Saints, Chuck Smith.
Well, the Panthers and Saints, first it starts with Christian McCaffrey. They brought him in for explosive plays. He's averaging less than 3 yards a carry and 3 yards, period, for an offensive line. It's terrible. Everybody wants to be 3, 5 plus, somewhere around 4. But also, you think about James Stewart. This team was really built around running, and also Cam Newton running the ball a little bit. But Cam Newton seems to be struggling a little bit with his shoulder. They're not able to throw the ball downfield. But the Saints, I mean, you're talking about a team to get better against. The Saints are really struggling defensively. They just can't get it right. You know, so when you think about the Saints, Drew Brees, he's all they got. But Drew Brees, they got to be able to do better. And the Saints defense, at some point, you know, those young guys got to stand up, and the Saints will be a lot better. But Carolina, it's going to be an interesting game. You know, two teams really, Carolina's not scoring points, and the Saints right now aren't stopping anybody. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
It'd be a good game to take a nap
Yeah.
to.
There you go. Heard it from Nikki. All right, how about Vikings Tampa?
Tampa Bay has the Roach Whisperer, Jameis Winston.
The Roach Whisperer.
And he got an air raid attack. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, those guys going to be running down the field, stretching that offense down. They got to beware of Everson, the defensive end from Minnesota. He's been getting some sacks, but Tampa Bay should handle the Vikings.
Jeffrey's not with us this week, but Bob Woodfield has his picks.
Here we go. What we have is New Orleans versus Carolina. Carolina's going to give up 6 points, but they should stretch New Orleans out by more than that. And Dallas looking to rebound against Arizona.
They won't.
Go with Dallas. They should rebound. Ezekiel Elliott will play better.
All right, in a moment, back with more on football's Play to Win.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Hurry into Nally Ford and get 0% APR for 72 months on 2016 F-150 XLT, plus over $4,000 in bonus cash.
Hey y'all, we're Low Cash and we love Nally Ford and NallyFord.com. It has to be Nally Ford Sandy Springs.
She intrigues the mind and ignites the soul. It's more than her looks. It's her entire existence. Every meticulous detail makes her an appropriate metaphor for your car. So when you don't put Toyo tires on your car, you're basically doing this. Choose Toyo tires, not clown shoes.
We are the blood, sweat, and tears of fierce ambition. We are fueled by the impossible, an inner drive that can't be contained. We are the Georgia Bulldogs. So shout, "Go Dogs!" and let the game begin. Here's to building champions. Now get $10,837 in total savings on F-150. See your local Ford dealer today.
Today's NFL Fantasy Report is being brought to you by Haviland Express Lube, driven to perform, so our customers and their vehicles can too.
All right, Adam is not here with us this week, but we're going to start with his complete list. Of course, Dr. Andrew Lalage and Chuck Smith are with us. And here we go. The list of must-start starts with Andy Dalton.
Well, that's exactly right. Andy Dalton has a new offensive coordinator, and Green Bay's has some challenges versus the past. He is a must-start this week in fantasy football. And how do you not talk about Matt Ryan versus Detroit Lions? I'm never going against Matt Ryan, Bob. I mean, that's just the deal. Right now, Matt Ryan is hot.
And he's completely healthy, too. Both those guys are completely healthy.
Now, also, let's talk about running back Ty Montgomery. He plays against the Bengals. So here's the challenge versus the Bengals. Okay. The Bengals' offense has been challenged. So that means the defense is going to be out there a lot. So Ty Montgomery from Green Bay has a great opportunity to have a big week.
The only issue is that in the preseason, he has had a high ankle sprain that highly tends to recur. So the only chance of injury that he has is recurrent high ankle sprain. But I agree with you. He's slated to have a really good game.
Well, let's talk about rookie Kareem Hunt at Kansas City. He's leading everyone in fantasy points. I'm going to tell you guys, this is a must-start, Bob. I'm telling you, Dr. A.
Oh, yeah.
You got to start Kareem Hunt at Kansas City, and one of the biggest surprises this year in fantasy football.
Yeah, 0.3% injury risk. You can't get any better than that, right? Kareem Hunt is the beast. He's probably number one in all fantasy charts this year, yeah.
All right, let's talk about A.J. Green, one of Georgia's all-time great receivers. Let's talk about Cincinnati's A.J. Green matched up against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, you know, A.J. Green is such an incredible wide receiver, but his durability throughout the season has always been in question. Suffers a hamstring injury, suffers a concussion, suffers a shoulder injury. Fantasy players should play him for the first half of the year, but watch out for the second half of the year because these injuries just pile up the older he gets.
Now let me ask you this. Think about this. Tampa's Mike Evans now is thrown up there in the top three, one of the best receivers in the National Football League. And I'm telling you, you throwing O.J. Howard in there, the first rounder out of Alabama. I mean, this is a deadly combination, but Mike Evans right now, he's got to be a great fantasy start.
And he is healthy as he can be. Low injury risk, peak health. You're absolutely right, Chuck. I think he's slated to have a big game this week.
At Carolina, let's talk about tight end Ed Dixon. Olsen is out, and so he's going to get the bulk of Cam Newton's passes. And Indy, Jack Doyle versus Cleveland. Cleveland's really struggled, so let's talk about Jack Doyle. I think he's a must-start also.
We agree on a lot this week for some reason, but low injury risk.
This is what Adam wants. This is what Adam wants.
94% is what his predicted performance is. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cam Hayward's doing a great job. They got Bud Dupree back. What are your thoughts on that?
The only issue is T.J. Watt with that groin injury. Pretty critical to his defense, but I don't think it's going to really affect him that much.
Okay, Adam needs to not miss a show. You were great on this.
Hey, man, I'm
Adam,
challenged a little bit, but I did my best.
Be careful when you're not here. The Chuckster steps in here. We'll be back in just a moment, and we'll have the dog report for you. Stay with us on Football's Play to Win.
Who do you trust to change your oil? I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. This is really my car, and Haviland Express Lube is who I truly trust. They're professional, priced to beat the competition, and really, really fast.
Hey football fans, don't take chances by driving with worn-out wiper blades. Pull into Haviland Express Loop Monday through Thursday, mention Football's Play to Win, and get a free pair of wiper blades with the purchase of an oil change.
To see our real research and find the location nearest you, visit trustdale.com/Haviland.
They're here.
Give us the goat!
Kevin, you heard the man.
Make your getaway. Win up to $100,000 over 300 times a day playing Keno.
We are the TV doctors of America, and we may not know much about medicine,
but we know a lot about drama.
From scandalous romance
to ridiculous plot twists. Son?
Dad. We also know you can avoid drama by getting an annual checkup.
So we're partnering with Cigna to remind you to go see a real doctor.
Go, know, and take control of your health. It could save your life.
Doctor poses.
Dad. Cigna, together, all the way.
Today on Football's Play to Win, the Dogs start SEC play against Mississippi State. The Falcons head to the Motor City to face the unbeaten Lions. College and pro previews, injury report, and Jeffrey the Ed Schechter picks his winners and losers. The fastest 45 minutes in television. Football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by Nissan, the Orlando Law Firm, and Longhorn Steakhouse. Welcome to Football's Play to Win with Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Falcons All-Pro offensive tackle Bob Whitfield, Fantasy Football League Master Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports legend Bob Neal. Today's University of Georgia report is being brought to you by This Is It Barbecue and Seafood, home of Atlanta's original rib tips.
Right now they're playing as good as anybody in the conference, playing really hard on defense and playing really physical. So they've got a very good team.
You know, they can play you in multiple fronts on the defensive line and play you with personnel that fits each of those fronts. You know what I mean? They can play in 3-4 with 3-4 personnel, 4-3 with 4-3 personnel, nickel with nickel personnel, and they're going to put a 5-star player at every one of those positions. They're pretty darn good.
All right, it's always tough getting the coaches to talk about their own team, but boy, they'll sure talk about the other team and tell you how great the other team is, whoever they're playing. Of course, there we're talking about Georgia and Mississippi State. Suddenly, Nikki, this is a big game.
And those Dogs ain't lying. Those are two undefeated teams going against each other. And now the Mississippi State game, all of a sudden, is huge after they torched LSU last week. Yeah. And now we're looking, I mean, we're all postured up. Last week, you said, who's Nick Fitzgerald? Right. Now I'm saying, who doesn't know who Nick Fitzgerald is?
Well, Nick Fitzgerald ain't the only one. It's Aris Williams, Bob. Aris Williams, that running back. Yeah, that running back. Nikki's little brother is toting that rock, and he is toting it something fierce. And don't forget that big tight end. He's 280 pounds. He used to be a quarterback, went to receiver, now he's at tight end. Jordan Thomas stretches the field.
Did you guys catch that little gamesmanship there? They're all 5 stars, what Dan Mullen said.
Right.
As far as Georgia, all 5 stars. But when you think about this Mississippi State defense, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Jeff Simmons, the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. He completely dominated LSU. And, you know, really, this Mississippi State team, they're built to compete against Georgia. They run a 5-3 defense. They also come back with a 4-3. So this is a really diverse defense, man, because Todd Grantham, great defensive coordinator, formerly at Georgia. I mean, I think he comes in with some ammo to have a chance to, you know, do a good day and have a superstar day against Georgia.
All right, one of my favorite times of the show is Chalk Talk with Bob and Chuck here, and we got them in front of the chalkboard earlier. Let's see what they're talking about.
What Georgia's going to see is a 5-2 double crash. Now, what that means, you're going to have 5 up front, and you're going to have 2 in the back. But what they're going to do, they're going to send 3. They want Jake Fromm to think that it's a run. When he checks off and thinks it's a pass, you're going to see 3 linebackers coming down. And this guy is an absolute beast. His name is Jeffrey Simmons, number 94. He causes havoc. Now, what you got here is Jonathan Abraham. He played at Georgia, and now he transferred to Mississippi State. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to show a run defense, and then they're going to come out and show a blitz, and they're going to get after Jake Fromm.
You can get after him, but this guy right here, tight end, can go in motion. And if Georgia goes into a double tight end set, they're going to have Nick Chubb. What you thinking is just a run. They will try to get good blocking and hit up Blazevich to throw a pass, a play-action scheme. So this is one of the things that they were stopped short in the 4th and 1 by Sanford, so they can go play action off of a tight running back scheme and throw a play-action pass. Look for Blazevich down the middle.
Watch out.
One thing we know for sure about Bob and Chuck, they're veterans of Chalk Talk.
Well, you know, Georgia's going to have a tough game. I mean, Mississippi State's defense, I mean, they're getting after it. We didn't even talk about Jonathan Abraham. I mean, the safety who played at Georgia, you know, went to junior college, and now he's, you know, back at Mississippi State. So I think it's going to be a good game, man. I'm excited to watch it.
What Dan Mullen said is correct. They have multiple players. That's 5-star, can go in 3 wide receiver positions. So that offense of Georgia with Jake Fromm, no turnovers, they can execute. They can win that game.
Then we'll know if they're the real deal.
Exactly.
Not yet.
All right, now
Not
it's
yet.
time to get 680 to check in on this with hometown Brandon Leak on the Dogs.
Thanks, guys. And hey, Nikki, how you guys doing? Look, the Georgia Bulldogs are off to a great start. You can't be better than 3-0. There's nothing better than perfect, and they've earned what they have gotten. The bottom line is, number one, their quarterback, Jake Fromm, has done a great job in managing the offense. He hasn't put the Bulldogs in bad situations and bad field position setups. Two, you have to give Coach Kirby Smart a lot of credit. He's had to change out quarterbacks in his first week of play. He's gotten great plays from his wide receivers, and he's got an offensive line that he's trying to coach up and get some good running attacks from. So those two things have worked out well. And then three, you can't talk about the Bulldogs this year without talking about the defense. Completely shutting down the run at Notre Dame on the road, getting a big road win early in the season. And these guys have been physical, they've been fast, and they've been ferocious. They still want to get that first interception. Hopefully it will come this Saturday against Mississippi State. Thanks to you guys. Have a great time. Take care, Nikki.
Good job.
Brandon.
Great
job,
job
Brandon.
with Brandon. It's time to pick the game now.
Well, Jeffrey sent me his pick, and he has it this way. Mississippi State with the 5 points. He has them beating Georgia, but look for Jacob Fromm to have an error-free day, and Jeffrey might have that pick
I
wrong.
think he's mistaken.
Thinks I'm going to beat
He
him with more
doesn't
than
do
5.
well without us, you know? I feel like he's maybe not thinking straight.
Yeah, notice he made that pick against the Bulldogs, got out of town,
Right.
had you do it.
Exactly.
Jeffrey wasn't born yesterday.
Lit a match, threw it, took off.
When we come back, we're going to talk NFL. Stay with us as we continue with football's Play to Win.
This is it. This is it. Barbecue and seafood has a real value for you. 10 delicious dinners under $10 each. That's right, 10 under 10. Choose from barbecue chicken, fried or grilled shrimp, fried catfish nuggets, char-grilled cut wings, fried whole wings, chopped chicken or pork barbecue, and so many more. Each dinner comes with bread and 2 delicious sides, like baked mac and cheese, collard greens, sweet potato souffle, and so many more. Run, don't walk to the nearest store or order online now at thisisitbbq.com.
It's the real deal! And so much more.
Make rush hour an adrenaline rush with the 2017 Nissan Altima. Now with Nissan Intelligent Mobility, featuring automatic emergency braking that can help you stop safely and keep you out of a jam. Automatic emergency braking, now on Nissan Altima and Sentra. Take on today. Now with Nissan's Hurricane Relief Program. Get employee pricing plus no payments for up to 6 months.
If you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident, don't drop the ball by letting the insurance company run all over you. I worked as an insurance lawyer for 10 years and I know their tactics and game plan. I'm Roger Orlando of the Orlando firm. Let our 30 years of experience tackle the insurance company for you. Our team will get you every dollar you deserve. So put the ball in our hands and we'll get your case across the goal line. Find us online at atlanta.law or call 678-LAW-FIRM.
At Longhorn, tonight's special, the Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. A center-cut sirloin with a side, plus a starter, or dessert. And for lunch, try one of our new burgers, like the barbecue bacon burger. You can't fake steak.
Today's SEC College Report is being brought to you by the Southeast Nissan dealers. Choose Nissan.com.
Now it's time for the Ippolito's You Be the Expert contest. This season, be sure to visit our website, playingtowin.tv, and take a shot to be #1 against all the competition by picking this week's college and NFL winners against the spread. We'll be giving away Ippolito's $150 gift certificates to each week's first and second place winners. So make sure you come back every week and prove your football IQ by being the best at predicting this week's college and NFL games. Ippolito's, a great neighborhood Italian restaurant. Is Clemson the real deal, Chuck?
Oh, yeah, I think Clemson's proved they're the real deal. You look what they did the last 2 weeks. They knock off Louisville. They knock off Auburn. And I just think Clemson is really taking it to another level. They're a national brand now. I mean, they're bringing in 5-star players because I remember when I was coming out, it was a small town. You know, Clemson was like a great school, but it wasn't looked at, you know, the same way it is now. But I think now, I mean, you know, kids are wanting to go to Clemson because they're winning championships. They're in the dance every year, you know?
Yeah, and it's not just that they knocked off Louisville. They destroyed Louisville. And this same game last year
That's
with
true.
Deshaun Watson came down to the wire. So they are even better somehow now this year without Deshaun Watson. It is mind-blowing. They have created a program over there that is plug and play, like a Saban deal. It doesn't even come down to the players anymore. It comes down to the program, and it comes down to the recruiting. Clemson has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't go that far, though. They got
They
one
have
chance. Saban got 6 now. I mean, let's keep it in
It's
perspective.
Dabo Swinney got this culture installed. It's a relentless effort from those guys. And what he also has is Kelly Bryant, 3 of the first 4 games been at home in Death Valley, so that home cooking has really helped his development.
Back in the day, it seems like I always got the Florida-Kentucky game. Some years good, some years not so good. Now my son Dave's got that game, so it goes right down the family. What do you think about it?
Well, I think Mike Stoops has done a great job. I think Kentucky's become tougher. I think Kentucky's become one of the teams that, in the East, they're standing up because, look, the East is, as we call it, a little down. Think about it. You got Missouri's really down. You got Vanderbilt that's competing. You got Tennessee and Florida that are in the mix. So Kentucky fits right in there. So I just think Kentucky's doing a good job, and I think Kentucky has a great opportunity to knock off Florida.
Well, Florida's been struggling with getting real players to play on their team because most of them got felony charges now. But this Kentucky team has been running the Wildcat, and they've been running some good formations and getting tight ends and screens. And Benny Snell is a good running back that UK attack.
That's right.
He's doing the thing.
That's right.
All right, Florida, Tennessee.
Well, that was a tough game last week. The guys in orange seem to sometimes struggle with, coverage. But that was a hard one now. I'm going to tell you, it hit Knoxville hard. People weren't going to work on Monday. I'm just telling you how it works. But give Florida a lot of credit. They made a lucky play.
All right,
come on now.
Come on, that's all right.
Right. Georgia last year with Georgia, Tennessee, that's a lucky play. That's the breaks.
Let's talk about the state of the SEC.
These are the breaks.
Historically, SEC is considered by most to be the best conference in America. Are they still?
Without Alabama, they're absolute fart.
I think that no one's passing gas around here, but the SEC opened up with some big games and some big competitions, Notre Dame, UGA, so they still looking top to me.
Today's Showdown of the Week is being brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, where every jackpot is a good jackpot.
Alabama Vandy. Historically, of course, always Alabama. Vandy every now and then steps up. How about this year?
They stepped up for the first time since World War II.
No, they stepped up since they hired Derek Mason out of Stanford. He was the defensive coordinator at Stanford, and he came to Vandy, and he took a couple years to get that program right. But it's defense. And Vandy's defense is leading 5 SEC categories, I believe. Might be 3, but I'm saying it's 5 because he got an effective defense.
You're a Stanford guy. You can say it's 5.
I know. Why are you attacking
We'll
me?
believe
Looking at me like that?
Because I told you about Vandy. He's going to be the truth.
Hey, I'm happy for Vandy. I'm happy for all the teams in the SEC, Kentucky, that never get no love. Really.
Since 1911.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, I think it's pretty cool to see some of the other teams, have a chance to at least have some talk, because we wouldn't even be talking about them. They probably never been talked about on the show at this point.
Not before the Titanic sunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1911. I think I was still in college back then. All right, let's talk about the game. We get the picks from you, playing the role of Jeffrey, who's not with us this week, Bob Whitfield.
Well, Jalen Hurts is going to try to put a hurt on him if you see in that Alabama-Vanderbilt game. But with 18.5 points for Vanderbilt, they're going to go with Vandy on the pick.
Yeah.
The other games, Kentucky and Florida, look at +3 with Kentucky, he'll take it. And Auburn, 19.5, they'll still edge out Missouri.
Go ahead, B.
Do it.
Hey, good job.
Nice job, B.
And we'll be back in just a moment as we continue with football's play to win.
Level up with the brand new Nissan Rogue Sport with automatic emergency braking that could stop for you, intelligent all-wheel drive, and around view monitor. Wow. Take on today the brand new Nissan Rogue Sport, part of the Rogue family. Lease today starting at just $159 per month, or save up to $10,760 on select models.
We are the TV doctors of America, and we may not know much about medicine,
But we know a lot about drama.
From scandalous romance
to ridiculous plot twists.
Son?
We also know you can avoid drama by getting an annual checkup.
So we're partnering with Cigna to remind you to go see a real doctor.
Go, know, and take control of your health. It could save your life.
Doctor poses.
Dad. Cigna, together, all the way.
Do you suffer from irritability, boredom, and chronic cravings? Mellow Mushroom's craft pizza, beer, and cocktails are clinically proven to improve your mood and leave you with a full belly. Mellow Mushroom is fast-acting, giving you relief when you need it the most. Side effects of Mellow Mushroom may include salivation, euphoria, and an insatiable craving for more Mellow Mushroom. Ask your doctor about Mellow Mushroom. She may want to come with you.
It doesn't matter how many records I break, or how many rings I win. I know I can always be better. There are two of me. There's the person I am and the person I'm driven to be. We're in a constant chase to become the best version of myself.
Lease the Infiniti Q50 2-liter turbo for $339 a month or finance at 0% APR at your Atlanta area Infiniti retailer.
Today's Atlanta Falcons Report is brought to you by Ford F-150, the official truck of the NFL.
This year, and you'll see that as you go. And then defensively, very good tacklers, and especially in the secondary. They drafted a linebacker in the first round, Davis, who's big and strong and can run. So,
all right, how about that Lions defense?
Well, I think they're strong. When you think about the Lions defense, the first thing that comes out is Ziggy Ansah. I mean, the guy is total beast, man. He had 3 sacks last week, and at corner they got Darius Slay. This is a strong Detroit defense, a lot better than they've been over the years, Bob. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough matchup for the Falcons. Matt Ryan has his hands full.
Yeah, Haloti Ngata on that defensive front, and they do a lot of unique things with the guys standing up and mixing in some twists and some stunts and stuff. So that defensive line and that whole front seven of Detroit is a formidable opponent. And good secondary, like you said, Chuck, is going to have their hands full with Julio.
Well, the defense, as the cliche goes, wins the games, but people talk about the quarterbacks, and these are a couple of good ones, Ryan and Stafford.
Well, you're right, and Matt Ryan, when you go into this environment, I can tell you this, and this is something, Bob, that our coaches always talk about. You got to take the first hit. I mean, Stafford's going to come out and swing, but you got to sit back and take that first hit. Stafford they might come out and take the lead. But you got to understand you're going to be in a hostile environment. It's going to be loud for Matt Ryan, so you won't have the advantage of having Mercedes-Benz at the stadium. The Falcons got to take that first punch a lot of times when that home team hits them, and they got to just respond.
Well, yeah, because Stafford, that quarterback at Detroit, he can get out that pocket. And when you have Greg Robertson at your left tackle, he might give up some pressure. So a mobile, nifty quarterback in Stafford getting out, getting that ball to Zach, Ebron the tight end, it's going to be a nice little offensive attack with just a mobile, nifty quarterback against that Falcons rush.
One-dimensional, though. I mean, the Falcons, when you look at this Detroit running game, the Falcons got to, number one, take out the running game. Detroit haven't been able to run the ball really all year long. And the key to stopping any offense, Bob, is you got to take out something. You can't give them both ways, right? So one of the things is you got to make them one-dimensional, and the Falcons need to do that with the running game and then let their front four get after it.
You can make Detroit one-dimensional, but that quarterback will kill you.
All right, here's a question. Who has the better secondary?
Yeah. You know what? I think the Falcons, hands down. Trufant, those guys.
Keanu Neal.
And they play a good, cohesive game together, So the little grabbing and the little pulling and the tugging and the holding on the cornerbacks, that's because they play that scheme. That's the little tugs you need at a defensive back position to get that pass rush and to really disrupt a timing of a Detroit offense.
All right, what does it mean with the loss of Vic Beasley?
I think really, you'd say this, Bob, the number 2 guy is not number 1. So instantly you gain a competitive advantage. The Falcons have a young guy, Tack McKinley, going to take some of the reps. They got a deep defense. But my thing is this. Anytime you take 15 sacks off of a team, it's going to affect them. But this Falcons team has depth, and it's going to have to show. This is the first time, really, they've had any negativity when it comes to injuries on the defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how young Tack McKinley plays, how they, kind of go flip around the rotation.
Yeah, next man up, and Brooks Reed and Claiborne and those guys definitely just have to shore that front end. Substitution-wise, you'll see some good substitution, but the whole defensive front line will have to be aggressive and just play hard.
But it's going to be rowdy. I'm going to just tell you this. I'm a big believer in home teams. Like anytime my buddy Richard Seymour has this league where we pick games, right? And I ain't name dropping, but I always pick the home teams. And I'm not saying the Falcons, I'm not picking the game here, but as a former player, it's just at home, even the worst teams have a chance. And this is a good team. So I always believe that you got to take that punch again from the home team and try to withstand it and then put on more steam.
And Detroit's a noisy environment, so you're right. Playing at Ford Field with that level of noise, that will be a component that Ty Sombrello at right tackle for the Falcons will have to deal with, because you remember him, he came from Denver. He gave up 6 sacks to a Beasley, so he's the new Falcon, might have to start. He has to play well.
Okay, overall, how do you see it, Lions-Falcons? What do you think?
Well, I'm going with, go ahead, B.
No, go.
NFC champs. I'm going with the Falcons till someone shows that they really can stop them. And right now, from what I've seen the first 2 games, you'll be a fool to pick against the Falcons. But I think Detroit has a puncher's chance because they're at home and they're young. And you know what they want? This is their statement game. This is the statement game.
Jeffrey says Detroit, so we're going with the 3 points in Detroit.
Exactly. So that's it. That's Jeffrey's pick. Detroit with the 3. We'll be back in just a moment. You stay with us as we continue with Football's Play to Win.
We are the blood, sweat, and tears of fierce ambition. We are fueled by the impossible, an inner drive that can't be contained. We are the Georgia Bulldogs. So shout, "Go Dogs," and let the game begin. Here's to building champions. Now get $10,837 in total savings on F-150. See your local Ford dealer today.
Who do you trust to change your oil? I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. This is really my car, and Haviland Express Lube is who I truly trust. They're professional, priced to beat the competition, and really, really fast.
Hey football fans, don't take chances by driving with worn-out wiper blades. Pull into Haviland Express Loop Monday through Thursday, mention Football's Play to Win, and get a free pair of wiper blades with the purchase of an oil change.
To see our real research and find the location nearest you, visit trustdale.com/Haviland.
Did you know when you buy any bag of dog or cat food at PetSmart, we give a meal to a pet in need? Buying your favorite bag of food at PetSmart will help us reach our goal of donating more than 60 million meals to shelters and food banks. That means millions of hungry pets across the country, like this little guy, get to eat. Buy any bag, any size, we give a meal to a pet in need. PetSmart, for the love of pets. And now come celebrate our grand opening in your neighborhood.
They're here.
Give us the go!
Kevin, you heard the man. Make your getaway. Win up to $100,000 over 300 times a day playing Keno.
Today's player injury and medical report is being brought to you by the Orlando Law Firm. Put a former insurance lawyer in your corner.
All right, welcome back. Time to go inside injuries now. Dr. A and Dr. Elamine, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so let's start talking about Sam Bradford. So this is the guy, he has a knee bone bruise, and it's not a fracture. Bone bruise can be extremely painful, and they take their own time to heal. And Sam Bradford, as everybody knows, he has been suffering from multiple season-ending injuries over the last 4 years. I would be very concerned about him, and he's a risky start for this game. Jordy Nelson, quad injury, listed him as elevated injury risk before the season. It's a grade 2 quad. He's going to need 2 weeks to rest. He's at elevated injury risk if he plays in the next game. Let's talk about DeMarco Murray. Now, here's a guy, it's a hamstring tightness. He had a grade 2 hamstring strain in the second game of the preseason. We listed him as elevated injury risk. These things tend to recur with running backs. Our algorithm says he is still elevated, and he's likely going to miss the next couple of weeks. If he does play, he's an extremely risk of injury. And then Rob Gronkowski, I mean, everyone's talking about him. Multiple injuries, had a spine fracture, and now he has a groin strain. It's a mild groin strain. He'll probably be back this week, but he has moved now into elevated and below average. If you have a backup tight end, be ready to use him because likely he will go down.
Okay, Dr. Elamine.
We're going to also talk about 2 of the Atlanta Falcons players this week that are on injured reserve. The first one is Vic Beasley. As you know, he sustained a hamstring injury. We don't know exactly if this was an avulsion injury, which would be a almost a season-ending career injury, versus a mid-substance, meaning he tore it in the middle. If that's the case, then he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks.
That's a big difference, right? If he tore it at the bone, it may be a season-ending injury, right?
He would require surgery.
Yeah,
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. The next person is Ray Schrader. As you know, he basically sustained a concussion. Right. And he definitely will not play this week, and he's going to go through the concussion protocol.
Right, and it's really important to note that you have to let these concussions heal, because I think there's a chance of re-injury if they don't heal completely.
Absolutely,
right?
It's not the first concussion; it's the second concussion and the prolonged symptoms that can have long-term damaging effects.
Okay, there you go. That gets you up to date on the injury. You come back in just a moment. We'll have Jeffrey the Ed Schechter's not with us this week, but Bob Whitfield has all his picks.
In football, as in the legal system, it helps to know your opponent. I'm Roger Orlando, and I used to work for the insurance companies. I've seen their playbook, and I know their game plan. If you've been hurt in an auto accident, call me at 678 Law Firm.
This is it. This Is It Barbecue and Seafood has a real value for you. 10 delicious dinners under $10 each. That's right, 10 under 10. Choose from barbecue chicken, fried or grilled shrimp, fried catfish nuggets, char-grilled cut wings, fried whole wings, chopped chicken or pork barbecue, and so many more. Each dinner comes with bread and 2 delicious sides, like baked mac and cheese, collard greens, sweet potato souffle, and so many more. Run, don't walk to the nearest store or order online now at thisisitbbq.com.
It's the real deal! And so much more.
Level up with the brand new Nissan Rogue Sport with automatic emergency braking that could stop for you, intelligent all-wheel drive, and a round view monitor. Wow. Take on today the brand new Nissan Rogue Sport, part of the Rogue family. Lease today starting at just $159 per month, or save up to $10,760 on select models.
If you've been seriously injured in an accident, don't get blindsided by the insurance company. I'm Roger Orlando, and I built a winning team to run interference against the insurance companies and get your case across the goal line. Call me at 678 Law Firm.
We are the TV doctors of America, and we may not know much about medicine, but we know a lot about drama.
From scandalous romance
to ridiculous plot twists.
Son? Dad? We also know you can avoid drama by getting an annual checkup.
So we're partnering with Cigna to remind you to go see a real doctor.
Go, know, and take control of your health. It could save your life.
Doctor poses.
Dad.
Cigna, together, all the way.
Today's lightning round is brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse, now featuring great American steak dinner. Longhorn Steakhouse, you can't fake steak.
Time for the lightning round. Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, not with us this week, but he left his picks. Bob Whitfield, you have the heavy burden of handling this.
Yeah, you can just call me Bob in the middle, because Michigan is playing that Purdue team, and with 10 points, taking Purdue, San Diego State against Air Force at 3.5 points. Jeffrey says Air Force, and then the big matchup, Penn State, Iowa, 12.5. Go with Iowa Hawkeyes.
All right, how about NFL?
NFL, Denver Buffalo. Von Miller coming off that edge, won't sack the quarterback enough. Take Buffalo +3. Cleveland, Indianapolis. Whatever pick Cleveland. -1, go with Cleveland. Oakland -3 over Washington. Kirk Cousins will get destroyed. Go with the Oakland Raiders.
All right, Jeffrey gives you the things. You handle them very well. Jeffrey, you better get back here. We'll be back next week for Football's Play to Win.
Today's show has been brought to you by Haviland Express Lube, This Is It Barbecue, and Nally Ford Sandy Springs.